There was a doctor, Jerry Tennant. He made some pretty astounding discoveries when he was studying the human cell. And he found that the human cell had a voltage. And the reason this is important because our nervous systems run on the same idea as this. So the human cell had a voltage of minus 25. So a healthy individual would show at minus 25. He also found that within each individual, every human being, from as soon as they're born until they die, they carry between 3 to 4 billion disease-carrying microorganisms in their body every single day. But they're laying dormant as long as that nervous system is running properly. So they're sleeping. That nervous system is keeping them sleeping. But as soon as that voltage changes, and it increases to minus 15, it's like an electric fence. It starts going on and off. And all of a sudden, these things start to kind of wake up from the slumber. And they're hungry, right? They've been sleeping for a long time. At minus 10, every single time at minus 10, the conclusion was this. The person now had cancer. Minus 10 was the starting point for cancer. So all these microorganisms, they were awake and they were feeding. Of course, they feed off the cells. And it just, boom, it all starts. So oxygen is huge. Without oxygen, you can no longer keep that garden. You can no longer dress it. You got no chance. That's the first key. The second key is sit. Yet again, very basic movement. We would think, all right, well, we're all sitting now, so how bad can that be, right? Yet again, if we go through, if you actually knew what it took to sit appropriately, I think you'd be floored. Okay? How many people in this time are crossing their legs? Jennifer just uncrossed her legs. Good. Close to the front. How many people have shifted to one side of their hip because maybe they're uncomfortable, or maybe have one foot behind them, right? So these little things are called compensations that occur. They're tiny little things that don't seem like they're anything, but over time they equivalent to a lot of things, right? And how God showed me this over the last 3 years was simply this. When he showed me something in the spiritual, he was showing me the equivalent in the physical. So when Terry was speaking, I would see the physical equivalents. It would go on and on like that for quite a while. Then eventually God would show me the unity that had to happen between both worlds, the physical and the spiritual. The way I look at the physical is the vehicle, and the spiritual is the driver. But if the spiritual doesn't have a reliable vehicle, it makes it very difficult to do the things we have to do, right? It'd be almost like having a NASCAR driver. They know how to drive a car. Absolutely know how to drive a car fast, which is how we should be driven, right? But if you actually took the brakes out of the car and didn't tell them, how well are they going to do? Probably not too good, right? Even though they're experts, they're not going to do too good. They're going to probably end up killing somebody or themselves. So, yet again, it's the simple little things that make the big difference. Standing. Josh got caught in this well. Right? Standing's a funny thing because we all stand. All these things are so simple, they're so basic that we don't really pay attention to them, right? They're free. They're given to us at the start of a young age. You don't think about it as they're free. They don't cost anything at the time. But when they're taken from you, then you start noticing it. So when we stand, how is it we stand? Well, we need to stand tall. Our toes should be lined up. Our knees should be slightly bent. We should be having our chest separated, almost like in a military position. There's a reason why they do that in the military. Because it allows them to fight. If they're like this, toes out, knees locked, they're dead. Would you agree? That's not an army you want. You want an army that's ready to fight at any means. They can move when needed to. But we don't see that. We don't see that anymore. What we see is this. The deviation of the feet out, lock knee, shoulders roll forward. So, yeah. So really what that comes down to is simply this. The human body now is compromised. There are disconnects all over the body, which means information is no longer able to travel to the nervous system, which is the weapon we need to protect ourselves. Without the information it needs, it has to do something pretty nasty. It needs to now guess as to what it needs to do, because it can't get the information. It's not available anymore. So when this frontline weapon, this amazing weapon that God gave us, starts to guess as to what we should be doing, it is not a good day for you. Okay? That guessing is not a good day. It makes the wrong decision. It's very smart, but it's very lazy. So when it makes a decision, it's going to make probably the worst decision it can make. So 3.5 years ago, this is where the game changer for me was. It was Sunday, June 14th, actually, 2015. Beautiful sunny day. He and I are going to come to church. And I decided to take the bike in because it was so beautiful. So he has followed me in the car, and we're going down